and welcome to the DreamOn Podcast. Today, we'll be interviewing someone truly inspiring, Sunita Kotnala, the founder and CEO of Women's Shed Canberra, recipient of the ACT Social Enterprise Grant, and the 2025 Citizen of the Year. Sunita started the Women's Shed as a place where women can learn trade, handy skills, and build their confidence, all in a safe, supportive space. Her work empowers women's mental health all across our community. Today, we'll talk about her dream, how she turned it into a reality, the challenges she faced along the way, and what advice she has for anyone with the dream. So, let's get started. Sunita, welcome to the show.
Thank you. That was a lovely introduction.
Of course, yeah. So first of all, what was or is your dream? What have you always wanted to achieve or create?
Also, when I was a kid growing up in India, my life was quite wild. We lived on these big properties. My father had a transferable job. So a lot of the times I was just running after wild animals who actually happened to visit our property. So there were the deer, there were the, foxes, wolves. And my days were very idyllic. So I didn't really dream about, much in terms of a career. But I did dream about making things, and I have always been very interested in creating things with my hand. So there would be a lot of driftwood, or there would be a lot of, things like peacock feathers, because after the rains, the peacock sheds feathers, and I would go and collect them all. So long, beautiful, shiny feathers. And then I would create things with them. So from my childhood, I have been creating things with my hand. So
that's amazing. Yeah. And were there was anyone who inspired you, or did you know that you wanted to build something like the Women's Shed at a young age, or has that kind of evolved over time?
So the Women's Shed is very much my dream after coming to Australia. That too, it's only like something that happened quite organically. So when I moved to Australia, this is 25 years ago as a migrant, one of the most irritating things I used to find was, because I was renting, and in rental houses, what happens is the landlord will not fix your insect screen if there's a big hole. And I would get so irritated with all that. And also sometimes when you're starting out, you buy some furniture which is brand new. Then you buy other things, which are used. Or over a period of time, your furniture starts shaking a bit, requires a bit of, maintenance, or hanging a picture. And that would be it seemed like it was bigger than Ben-Hur kind of a thing. Whereas in 2016, I joined a Women's Shed in Sydney. And then I realized, my God, these were just small jobs. And if I knew how to use power tools, I could have done it. And since moving to Australia, anyways, I still had a kit. So I used to use that kit to, do a lot of stuff, because one of the things that I loved was that in Australia, when people throw out things for council cleanup, there would be perfectly good pieces of furniture, or some beautiful antique chairs or whatever, and I would pick them up, and then I would use the hand tools, to sand them, clean them, color them. And that was the time when Pinterest was becoming very big too. So I got inspired by that. And then when we sold our house, the first items to go were my creations. And I call them Pinterest inspired, So yes, that was my first thing. And when I came over to Canberra in 2020, COVID was just starting. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have community connections. So I joined the community garden in Kingston. And while there, I made friends with this person called Robbie McGarvey. And then I would talk to her about how I wish there was Women's Shed. And she would say, oh, what is a Women's Shed? So I explained everything to her. And then we tried contacting men's sheds, but they didn't give us an opportunity to start there. So she said, okay, what do we need to start a women's shed? I said, well, we need a place. And then we need some tools. And because we're all women, we also need someone who can teach us on a regular basis. She said, okay, let's start one. So that's how we started. And then there is a lovely, lovely business called Thor's Hammer. So they basically use recycled timber. So they collect timber from historical buildings in Canberra, or even places like when the Bateman's Bay jetty was, the old pontoon bridge was dismantled. And so they would use, timber from there and stuff. So if you go to that timber yard, it is the most beautiful place because you will see even timber from the Darwin hurricane, which is like 30, 40 years old now. And the reason is because that's how long, it also takes timber to cure. And they make beautiful furniture. So one day we just walked up into that business and we said, we want to start a women's shed. And so Thor, who is the owner, he said, when do you want to start? We said, we actually want to start, on Tuesdays, once a week. And as soon as, we can collect some money to get our tools and all. He said, can't do Tuesdays, come on Saturdays. So we thought it's even better. So he was willing to give us immediately. We didn't have to pay for anything, no rental, nothing. But we had to organize ourselves. We had to become a not-for-profit association. Then we had to find insurance. Whenever you start anything in Australia, one of the key things is you have to find insurance. And not everything will be insured cheaply. So what we had to do was we had to find insurance. And then someone suggested that we should become part of the Men's Shed Association. So as Women's Shed, we can become a member of the men's sheds, but we don't get as many benefits. But we got insurance. So now we are fully insured under the Men's Shed Association. And we also have, follow other governance rules. And we are an incorporated association.
Nice. That's such an amazing journey. How did you have the courage to chase your dream and to make it real?
Sometimes I'll give you this advice, that sometimes you have a dream and then, if your dream is more about actually doing a lot of things for the community and not just about yourself, you'll find that things just fall into place. So for example, with the Women's Shed, I just wanted something that I wanted to do, but also because I knew there were a lot of women who were interested in doing it. And sometimes you just follow your dream and things fall into place because it's the focus that you have, and you'll find your people, and you'll find that they'll be willing to walk with it. So one of the key things, and you'll find that a lot of women or men as well who have achieved things in their lives, sometimes it's a goal of actually creating something rather than just the money. When you're only chasing the money and you say, I want to be that rich by this date, or I want to have that many goals and achieve all of them by this date, that's when you actually get a bit of strife as well. So it's better to just have a vision, have a big vision. So once you have a vision, what will happen is, it's like going traveling. So say sometimes you'll say, I really want to visit South America. Once you have decided that, then you look at how will you visit it? How are you going to travel there? What do you need to travel there? And South America is a big continent. So then you have to focus on which country you want to visit. And that's how it will happen. Once you've got that vision in your mind of being at a place at some point, things then you start finding a path.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you have a master's in social work. And
Yes.
You've worked in community development, mental health related fields. Have those experiences helped you create Women's Shed?
Absolutely. So, there's actually a saying which says, every overnight success has 15 to 20 years of hard work.
Oh.
So, and so like you might see today and you think, oh wow, out of nowhere, Sunita Kotnala is Citizen of the Year. Because I haven't been in Canberra for very long. But the fact is that all my training in social work, social development, doing international work in places like Mongolia, and also working in mental health, working in community development, domestic violence, field of domestic violence, child protection and all. So all that has kind of, built to this time. So that's why when I had to go and actually register Women's Shed for an incorporated association and develop governance structures around it and also find funding later on, I had those skills already. So I was able to transfer them. And in the process, I have learned a lot about construction industry. I've learned a lot about building industry. And I've learned that, women in construction are actually now around at 3%. That is actual boots on the ground. So with what I'm talking about is your carpenters, electricians, bricklayers, people like that, or forklift drivers, stuff like that. And they are around 13% when you include all of them, which is white collar jobs. So your architects, your project managers, your interior designers, your, logistics. So that's different. But actual tradeswomen is very few. And then when I started working in the, Women's Shed arena, and when every day when I was building things and learning more and more skills with our facilitators, because we always have a trained tradesperson. And for us, we've always had men. The reason is because there are not that many women.
Exactly.
So we've had to have men. And I have to say they have been excellent. There have been men who have had 30 years of, building industry experience. Our most recent one, Johannes Schäfer, he's trained in German trained joiner, excellent person. And what I realized was that we could actually play a great role in creating a micro environment for women in construction and trades. So exposing, a lot of women who are already in different careers, but they're bored with these careers. Because if I had been exposed, now I know that if I had been exposed to construction and trades, and there was not a cultural issue, because I'm from India, like if you're from the middle class and educated, somehow those trades are not an option for you. Your family will not encourage you to do those.
I totally get it.
Whereas, most South Asians, Whereas in Australia, if I had come at a time when I could have changed, careers, I would have definitely been a tradesperson.
That cultural shift, there's so many challenges.
But now I find, so what gives me most pleasure now is the fact that seeing that people come to us, women, young women, 18 plus. Our oldest member is 81 now.
Oh wow,
And they come and they have no experience with tools, but then they learn, and suddenly what I find most fascinating is I can visibly see their physical health improving as well, and their well-being, and they find connection. So we don't categorize ourselves as, we are a DV service, that is domestic violence, or we are for people with disability only, or we are specifically for, LGBTIQ, or, we are for specific groups. Anyone is welcome. As long as you identify as a woman, you can drop by, and you have to be 18 plus. If you're younger than 18, you have to come with your mom. And usually we would say a teenager. So, like how you can start working at 14 years, 9 months. Similarly, if you're around that age and you come with your mother, then it's okay, because then we are covered under insurance, we are covered under governance, because if you're younger than 18, then we have to put a lot of things in place for child protection.
Yeah.
For a small organization like ours, it's a lot of work.
And what would you say is the biggest challenge you faced in your career so far?
Oh, look, in my career, I've faced many challenges, because, like a lot of people nowadays, my career has not remained static. You know, it's changed. So the first thing was when I started doing social work in India itself. We were one of the poorest paid profession there at that time. And you know, like my parents would say, why do you want to be a social worker? Couldn't you be a doctor, engineer, this, that, anything? Or join the civil services? The civil service is one of the biggest aspiring things for, people in India, or was, especially at that time. There were no options for, sports or other aspirational things. so basically that was a key challenge, but that led me to actually apply for Australia under the skilled migrants stream, and I came to Australia under skills migration program as a permanent resident. So I didn't come on a working visa or a student visa. I came here on a permanent visa under the skills program. So when I came to this country, I already had a master's. I had 10 years of experience, but they gave me a role, and they started me on basic daily wages of $13.50 an hour, even though I was a social worker, or with 10 years experience and a master's degree. And however, my managers were very good. They realized my potential, and they asked me, a position was becoming available of a manager, and they said, perhaps you should apply for it. So so I've had challenges, but at the same time I've also had opportunities. And then after that I realized that I was really in a small town, and for my daughter's sake I needed to move to a bigger town. So then I applied as an ethnic communities liaison officer in the police. That was a very, very challenging role, because at that time there were not as many ethnically diverse people in Australia generally. Definitely not that many South Asians. So and then on top of that, you're sitting in a police station where you look totally different. No one really knows anything about your culture or anything, but at the same time, that was the role, to inform the police about different cultures and inform different cultures about police and laws in Australia. So they couldn't say, oh, in my culture we do this. Sorry, boss, you're in Australia. In Australia, this is the law. Whether it's your culture or Australian culture, everyone gets treated the same. And you can't give a bribe and get over it, So it was a very interesting role, and I was doing it in Manly, and in these areas no one really associates with cultural diversity. But at that time there were pockets. So there was like 1,500 Indonesians, 1,500 people of Pacific background, and there were a lot of travelers who would require a lot of police assistance. So by the time I left that role, we had created a lot of resources within Pittwater, Manly, and DY council areas, and also they actually appointed a multicultural officer.
You've had such an amazing career, and especially being an Indian as well. That's so inspiring that you really made life like your own. You had like such a unique journey. That's so inspiring.
Yes, I have to say I have been blessed. At sometimes during that journey, I really felt like, oh my God, this is so hard. But every time things are hard, don't give up. Because what happens is it creates resilience. So what you have to focus on is, we are all like diamonds and gold. The more pounding we get, the more purer we get.
That's beautiful.
And the better we get.
Yeah.
So what you have to look at it is you have to say, okay, this challenge is now. Because life is like this. Nothing remains static. You go up, you go down. And also it's like day and night. There's always a day. The night comes. Sometimes there are clouds all over, so you don't know if you're in day and night. But usually there's always day, there's always night. So you have to just be mindful that if it is a bad day today, tomorrow will come and it'll become a good day. So just hang in there, keep doing your thing, and sometimes the luck, you will be surprised that suddenly a stroke of luck will come or an opportunity will come, but you have to be ready to grab it.
That's so beautiful. And on that note, what's been the most rewarding experience that you've had? Like one of the most rewarding?
So, there have been many, but I have to say motherhood has been extremely rewarding. I know it's something that, especially today's world, I call myself a feminist, and when I was growing in India, I did try to be absolutely non-traditional in every way. So, for example, when I got married, I was already in my mid-20s and later. So that would have been a very late time. And also, I chose my own partner, and I didn't have a traditional wedding. And then I decided to come to Australia by myself. And my children and my husband at that time followed. So I've had a lot of, where I have done things non-traditionally. And I know that a lot of people say, we don't want to have children, we don't have to do this. But throughout all my challenges and everything, I think motherhood has been one of the most rewarding things. And I say that because it is a great teaching for you. It teaches you a lot of things. Like I see people who don't have children or who haven't had children as yet, I should say, as yet. They get very troubled about things, about, issues. And then once you've had children, sorry, you just have to get on with your life. You can't just say, I don't like this, abandon it, and go. No matter what the challenge, no matter whatever you do. And it's like, also a bit like gardening as well, You see your plants grow. You see them flourish, Some years they will not flourish that well, but other years they do. And of course I have to say the Women's Shed has been also a very, very great honor for me, and also it has been a very satisfying journey because when the challenges come, so for example, when we moved from Torshammer, where we were for 4 years, to our current location in Greenway, which is a permanent location, it has been a very challenging year since last year because there's been a lot of expenditure. There hasn't been that much revenue. Like, I haven't been able to raise that much money. And we are running it more like a business model, so social enterprise that way. Because we don't want to just rely on grants. We actually want to make money so that in future, whether we get a grant or not, we can still run the programs. And what really gives me greatest satisfaction and pleasure is, for example, we had a end of year barbecue, and in that people actually came and gave me cards, and they said thank you very much for running the Women's Shed under any circumstances. So that's why it's been a challenging year, but I would continue. But then, like I said, I have opportunities. I've had suddenly someone call me and say, we are a golf group, women's golf group, and every year we raise money for charity, and this year we want to raise for you.
That's amazing.
So, or someone, I'll get a call from a government department, they'll say, every year we do this bake on International Women's Day, but this year we want to raise the money and do it for you. So yes,
Yeah.
and if all of you young women out there and men,
Yes.
if you want to raise money for me, I'll be very happy.
Yes, I'll link it below. Yeah.
And do
Yes.
drop by at the
Yeah.
Women's Shed. Give us a, send us a email, and we'll be very happy to organize a visit for you
That's
and your
amazing.
school.
Yeah. And finally, what advice would you have to someone with a dream?
With a dream, I would say have a big vision. Have really a big vision. Don't limit yourself to small dreams and goals, because this is what I've had. Whenever I thought, that's good if I reach that level, and I'll say I'll reach it in 8 years. I reached it in 5 years. Then I'm a bit lost because I thought that's going to be very hard. Have a big dream, a big goal, a big vision, which does not just include you, but it actually includes the community. It includes a vision for the world.
Yes.
Because then you'll find that you'll be able to get there. And your short goals will keep changing from year to year, and you'll have to work on them. You can't be very strict. So for example, when COVID happened, a lot of people wanted to do some things that year, but they couldn't. They had to revise them. So be ready for them. Be flexible in your life and be resilient. That's the word I would use again. Resilience means that you will go through a lot of stuff in your life, because we all have to. We are humans, we have to. Just don't let that get you down, because no matter how awful your situation is right now, or how you perceive, sometimes we also perceive our situation to be awful. And there will be times when it'll change.
That's beautiful, yeah. I loved hearing about your experiences, from your career to motherhood. You've had such a selfless life, and my mom, I know she's made so many sacrifices for me and my brother, and just you doing the same, not just for your own family, but like our entire community, is just amazing. You're an amazing role model for so many people, including myself.
Thank you so much, Adyan, and thank you for inviting me.
Of course,
and I would love to have more interaction with you.
Yes. Chatting with you, it was such an amazing reminder that dreams can come true with hard work, passion, and dedication.
And always don't just think of my big dream has not. You'll realize that your little dreams and your smaller goals, you achieve them. So when you achieve them, rejoice, but just don't sit on them. Then you have to, go on to next thing. But yes, rejoice when you can.
Thank you so much, Sunita. That's amazing.
All right.
And thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the DreamOn Podcast for more inspiring conversations with real people chasing their dreams and making them real. I'll see you next time on the DreamOn Podcast.
Thank you.
And thank you to everyone listening. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the DreamOn Podcast so that you can stay up to date for all the inspiring conversations we have with people chasing their dreams and making them real. I'm your host, Adya Karthik, and I'll see you next time on the DreamOn Podcast. And remember, don't forget to keep on dreaming on.